morning. It's 11:30 on your clock. It's time for Market Fatafat right here on ET Now with me, Karunya. Let's bring on board my colleagues from the research desk, Vivek as well as Varun, who are joining us right here on the show. We also have Gaurav Ratnaparki of Sharekhan to talk technicals with us. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome on board. Let's kickstart the show with the stock number one. Titan is the counter that we're tracking today. They've come up with a Q2 update. It's not looking very encouraging. Secondary sales, which is consumer offtake, grew 7% year-on-year. Reported sales are down 2% because of adverse impact of hedges. Watches business growth was also at 7% in the second quarter versus 20% growth which was seen in the first quarter. Clearly, the street is not enthused by the update that they gave for Q2 sales. Brokerages are also split as far as their view is concerned. Goldman Sachs is neutral, target at 1180. Jewelry segment saw a degrowth of 2%, which is a below estimate of 3% growth. Weakness is because of weak consumer demand, high gold prices. Citi has downgraded to neutral from buy. Target is 1370. Recent stock outperformance, prices and midterm upsides. Valuations are much higher, and that's why they've given it a thumbs down. Titan stock, meanwhile, is down more than 3%, clearly reacting to that news flow. Another stock we're tracking today is the Venky's, another one from the consumption basket. Gaurav, what are you observing on the chart pattern? The stock is fairly buoyant today, but going forward, what is the momentum seen?
Sorry, can you please repeat the stock?
Venky's.
Yeah, Venky's is recovering from the level of 1500. It had a sharp correction recently. However, it got support near 1500 mark from where it is recovering and is now trading above its crucial daily moving averages. When the daily momentum indicator has completed its correction cycle and can start a new cycle on the upside from the equilibrium line, whereas the weekly momentum indicator is already in bullish mode. So I think the stock can continue with the positive momentum going ahead. And on the higher side, it can test its September high, which is close to 1870.
All right, that's the word coming in on Venky's. Meantime, another name from the consumer basket, Jubilant Food Works. Vivek, some cautious commentary pulling the stock lower.
Well, Karni, I know there are a whole lot of factors that are actually dragging Jubilant Foodwork at this point of time. What has actually happened as far as Jubilant is concerned? Remember, the company too has a delivery model, especially when you're talking about Domino's Pizza. Now, what has actually happened is that the competition in this particular home delivery segment has gone up significantly. First, we saw the entry of Swiggy that actually hurt Jubilant Foodworks quite significantly, and a whole lot of brokerage downgrades came in. Now, what has actually happened is that, again, there have been plans by Amazon to enter this particular cloud kitchen space and the home delivery space. And on the back of that, analysts at this point of time are actually seeing increased competitive pressure for Jubilant Foodworks. Also, initial channel checks done by brokerages for the triple SG growth for this particular quarter doesn't seem to be too encouraging. Given the high valuation, Jubilant Foodworks at this point of time is actually seeing some amount of selling pressure.
Vivek, thanks for that. India Mart, meantime, is a stock that's flying away in trade. Varun, tell us what's the update.
Right, Karanya. So India Mart in this market making a new 52-week high as well as a lifetime high. The share price touched 2,217 today, which was the lifetime high. There's a couple reasons for this. The first being it's a very illiquid counter, so we've been flagging this off over the last couple months. Any big buying here really drives share price up as it's very closely held stock. The second thing is that the growth rates here are tremendous. India Mart's growing revenues and profitability at around 30 to 35%. Its competitor Udaan has already been funded at $1 billion valuation. That's pre-revenue. India Mart's operating cash flow is well in excess of 200 crores. So on a price to cash flow basis, even at the $1 billion mark, it's still only around 30 times. Whereas on a PE basis, it looks a lot more expensive. So some might argue that it's still cheap. All in all, the only B2B listed player in India, so auguring really well for this stock.
All right, that's the word on India Mart. The stock has hit a lifetime high, nearing 2200 mark as we speak. Let's talk about another stock, Tata Motors. It's a tad bit tempered in today's trading session. They came out with their JLR numbers. Retail sales for the month gone by, which is September, were down by nearly 1%. China retail sales were up 24%, US JLR retail sales were down 21%, and UK retail sales were also down a little over 5%. So clearly, while the China market is recovering a fair bit, the rest of the market, the rest of the key geographies for JLR continue to be weak, and that's why the stock is also really cooled off from the day's highest point. It's right now just trading with a muted gain of about 0.2% in trade. That's the word on Tata Motors. Meanwhile, RBL Bank is another counter that we're keeping our eyes out for. Gaurav, what's your sense on this one?
Yeah, RBL Bank has been in a downtrend from short-term as well as medium-term perspective. However, from current level, I think it has a limited downside potential. It has a strong support in the range of 280-260 where it can form a base. So the downside looks limited from current level, and one can look to accumulate the counter somewhere around 280. However, on the downside, a strict stop loss need to be placed at 257.
Okay, that's RBL for you. It's down 2.2%. Meantime, some updates coming in on the entire cement pack as well. Ultratech and a couple of more in focus. Vivek, fill us in.
Well, that's right. So if you're talking about the entire cement space, most of them are quite buoyant. In fact, they were quite buoyant throughout the trading session, even when the market was extremely volatile a couple of hours ago or just an hour ago. Ultratech, Ambuja, Shree Cement, ACC, all of them are trading near the day's highest point. What Morgan Stanley is saying in its recent note is that it's very likely that a lot of these companies could go ahead and raise prices quite significantly. They believe that in the Mumbai region, you could see price hikes in the range of almost 15 to 20 rupees a bag, and they're also expecting price hikes in the eastern market. So overall, on the back of price hikes and also on the back of the fact that most of these stocks are actually seeing some amount of short covering in the F&O space, you're seeing the cement pack in focus today.
All right, clearly in focus and buzzing away in trade. Ultratech Cement up almost 4% as we speak. All right, moving on to stock number 9. Minda Industries is also on our radar. The stock has significantly jumped up from the day's lowest point. It's right now also trading with a decent gain of a little over 1% in trade. What the update is, well, they're all set to acquire Germany-based Delvis for 21 million pounds. This is mainly a part of the strategy to acquire technological capabilities in their existing product lines. They will be using a mix of debt as well as equity to fund the takeover. It's going to be concluded over the next 2 months. The management also joined us right here on ET Now and spoke about the contours of the deal, and they said that it's also going to give them a very strong cross-selling opportunity as well, given that Delvis has a very impressive list of clienteles, mainly key OEMs which are Germany-based itself. All right, moving on to the next stock, NCC. Gaurav, what's your call?
NCC had a sharp correction in the last couple of weeks. On the daily chart, the stock has formed an impulse on the downside. So as per Elliott wave theory, what we can expect is a 3-wave pullback. And indeed, the pullback has already started today. The new low in the price has not been confirmed by a momentum indicator, which is also in favor of bulls. So I'm expecting a short-term bounce in this counter. And on the higher side, it can move to test its crucial daily moving averages, which will also be a daily lower Bollinger Band reversal. So on the higher side, I'm expecting this stock to head towards 58.60 from short to medium term perspective.
Okay, that's NCC for you. Right now, soaring away in trade, up almost 6%. Varun, Yes Bank once again is in focus. Some more updates have come in.
Right, so last week or I'd say on Monday, people thought that the situation is improving considerably given that, the bank was looking to raise capital. Well, we figured out on Monday evening that the debenture trustee has invoked its pledge and sold another 10 crore shares. Now, selling of pledge shares is not entirely a positive thing, although leaving the counter will all go well in the long run. But I think with Q2 coming up, the next big thing to look out for is what the increased slippages will be at Yes Bank. Also, the Q2 numbers coming out and not much capital adequacy to bolster it. A negative outcome here could really raise the urgency for capital. And it seems that the gains on Monday were purely due to short covering, as the stock is down around 7-8% today. So we'll be watching it closely over the next couple of weeks for sure ahead of the Q2 results.
Absolutely. Well, it's half time on Market Fatafat, but before we take a break, here's what the rise with India's small case is perched at. Let's quickly pull that up to see how exactly is it faring vis-a-vis the entire market. Right now, it's up about 0.4%. 540 is the level, exactly where it's perched at. Let's step into a short break. We have 10 more stocks lined up, then we come back.
Rooms has raised $1.5 billion at a staggering valuation of $10 billion from existing investors like SoftBank, Lightspeed, as well as the founder Ritesh Agarwal. India's youngest unicorn, Ritesh Agarwal, will pump in $700 million to buy back the shares. The balance $800 million is being infused by the existing investors. Oyo will use these funds to continue expanding overseas. Apple's CEO Tim Cook says he's not comfortable with the idea of an Apple currency and there are no such plans to even create one. These comments can be seen as a dig on Facebook and its cryptocurrency plans with Libra. Y Combinator-backed Vahan has raised an undisclosed sum from Khosla Ventures, Founders Fund and Pioneer Fund. It's going to be using these funds to scale up and expand operations. The startup connects blue-collar job seekers to employers who need access to labor. Lending technology firm Ugrow Capital has raised $14.1 million from Flipkart co-founders Sachin Bansal as well as the Poonawalla family. The firm's going to be using the funds to expand its business.
Welcome back. You're still watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. Let's get on board with the next 10 stocks as well that we are keeping on our radar today. Piramal Enterprises, Vivek, what's the update that's pulling the stock lower?
Well, you're having a look at Piramal Enterprises. This particular stock has actually seen a fall of almost 50% from its recent high. What is it that is worrying the street? Number one, fresh capital raising concerns. Also, the report by a newspaper saying that the SoftBank deal may be called off. Also, worries regarding real estate lending portfolio that the company has. All of this at this point of time is actually dragging the market, the stock, much lower in trade. So, combination and of all of these factors actually impacting the Piramal stock price as well. However, today the stock has seen a significant recovery from the day's low. It'll be interesting to see what exactly is the commentary coming in from this particular name and how exactly the market reacts to the results of Piramal.
All right, that's Piramal's share for you. It's down 6% as we speak. Meanwhile, Soma from the real estate space is soaring away. Varun, what's the update there?
So Soba has been upgraded by ICI Securities. Now it's interesting because the most recent Q2 update or indication of what Q2 numbers will be wasn't that good. We saw new sales volumes coming in a total of 682 crores and an average realization of 6,600 rupees per square foot. Now this actually implies an 8% and an 8.5% correction subsequently. So while the quarterly performance is not good, ICICI Securities believes the long-term prospects of Soba still remain unchanged as a key player in the realty space, hence an upgrade on the stock.
All right, that's Soba up 4.5% as we speak. Meanwhile, Aurobindo Pharmaceuticals has seen a decent rebound as well. The stock is up for more than 2% right now. They've issued a clarification as well yesterday itself, saying that they have received observations from the US FDA, the audit which was held in the end of September. They don't believe any of them are related to data integrity. The company believes none of the observations, in fact, are related to that, and they're confident of addressing the issues within the stipulated time. So they have, to some extent, been able to successfully allay investor concerns as far as the 7 observations received from the US FDA are concerned. And on the back of that, we're witnessing a clear rebound on the stock price today as well. Okay, stock number 14, Gaurav, Raymond has had an update when it comes to their land parcel sale. How is it looking on the charts?
Raymond had a sharp correction in the month of June, July and August. However, in the last month, it formed a base for itself. In terms of price pattern, it formed a base triangle and has broken out on the upside today. And the price breakout has been accompanied by a good amount of volumes. Even the daily momentum indicator that has been showing positive divergence has triggered bullish crossover. Even the weekly momentum indicator is in bullish mode. So I think this is a good setup to initiate a fresh long position. Stop loss can be placed at 570 and initial target on the upside will be close to 38.2% retracement of the June to August decline, which is around 650, and subsequent target will be 700, which is the junction of 50% retracement and crucial weekly moving averages.
Right, moving away from Raymond to Z Entertainment, Vivek, the stock has seen a decent rebound from the day's low. It's up about 0.5% odd. Can you tell us what's the update we're tracking?
Well, absolutely. So what's actually happening as far as the entertainment is concerned is the fact that the stock market exchange notification that the company is talking about the higher pledge that the company has in terms of lending is something that the street hasn't taken very positively. You saw extreme volatility in the stock. In fact, a lot of the brokerages have actually moved their rating from either buy or sell to something that's under review. CLSA today has also said that the renewed pledge pressure that the company or the stock may face is something that is going to ensure that the company promoters are forced to sell the remaining 10% stake as well. And the other important thing to monitor as far as this particular stock is concerned is the kind of stake sales that the company is able to garner from the other assets or from its non-media portfolio. So, the entertainment extremely volatile, continues its volatile ride even in today's trading session.
Right. Meanwhile, Indiabulls real estate, a counter that's locked in the upper circuit today. 11th October is the important date to watch out for. The board will be meeting and mull over a buyback plan as well. What analysts estimate is that the net cash position of 1,000 crores by the end of the third quarter, the net debt position of 5,000 crores, which could return to net cash post Blackstone deal. This is the word coming in from JP Morgan. And IB Real Estate divested office portfolio, do remember, in Blackstone for 4,400 crores equity value. So 11th October is the next important date to watch out for in order to understand what exactly does the board decide when it comes to their buyback plans. Moving on from Indiabulls real estate to Indiabulls ventures, Varun.
Yeah, so as Karanya has already given you a lot of information about the 11th of October, Indiabulls Ventures is the other group company that is considering the buyback. Now, it's a much preferred avenue for a buyback as compared to Indiabulls Housing Finance because of the leverage. Now, SEBI has norms on certain leverage ratios which inhibit a buyback, which I think is what is inhibiting the buyback in the case of Indiabulls Housing Finance. So Ventures is also up very positively on this news today, being a preferred vehicle for the buyback.
All right, that's Indiabulls Ventures for you. This one is also flying away in trade big time on back of some likely plans of a buyback. With that, we're going to wrap it up on this edition of Market Fatafat. Thank you so much, Varun, Vivek and Gaurav for joining us on the show with your updates on the various stocks that we're watching out for. But before we say goodbye, here's a quick reminder of what we have in store for you at 5 p.m. today. The Rise with India Hour, the first hour of that, we have the Money Show. There's a guide to help you get a tax refund. IRDAI also tweaks health insurance norms. So what's in store for the consumers there? More illnesses could be covered under health insurance. Buying a prepossessed house, well, that's also something that we will be helping you out with. So don't forget to tune in and don't forget to contact us with your queries for the Money Show coming up at 5 p.m. today.